Good morning. Good morning, guys. Welcome. I just spent the last couple minutes doing like an SOS meditation on Headspace. You know, I always have pods in right now, and I've always got my phone on me. I've just found the Headspace app and the SOS like 3-minute kind of like stop everything and just kind of breathe, bring yourself back in the present moment. It's been really, really helpful. But full disclosure, before I was doing a meditation, I was listening to, brace yourselves, the Muppets singing the entire soundtrack of Hamilton. So if I have time at the end, I'll share it. It's life-changing. And I'll talk about that in a little bit. But people are here. Today, it's a very special No Time to Waste Live. I am going to be sharing a personal update that I've been sitting on for about a week as I process stuff. And my goal is to not cry today. However, I'm also supposed to be processing my feelings. So I'm going to just see what happens. I wrote blog posts, though, that I have just published that I'm going to read it, because just like when you're on stage or you're presenting in front of a group, you're like, oh no, I'll use slides, because the slides are basically not for the audience, they're for you, so that you don't forget what you're supposed to say. So in order for me to stay on track and not get emotional, although I think someone was cutting some onions in here earlier, we've got a lot of people who are joining right now. I am just going to read through it. If you were here last week, so we're in my little test period of Instagram live shows. Last week had like a total baller. Keegan Randall, who is a cross-country ski legend, a 5-time Olympian, the first American gold medalist in the sport, and a just badass breast cancer survivor, a mom, a wife. A year after finishing breast cancer treatment, she goes and runs a sub-3 at the New York City Marathon, which like makes my attempts to stay physically active during treatment look like a complete pansy. So she was incredible last week. If you didn't catch it, just go to No Time to Waste project, which you're on right now, so that doesn't make sense. But go to the Instagram live kind of feed, and you'll see that I saved it in there. Hi to everybody who's saying hi. So that was pretty awesome. Not only did we have like a super tight show, and I know a bunch of people were like, that was actually pretty awesome. We also gave away $400 worth of swag. Rudy Project sunglasses and a Rudy Project cycling helmet, which was pretty badass, because I just feel like I really love free stuff. I always have. And why shouldn't we give stuff away? So speaking of giveaway, before I read my very personal blog post and I start to go into it, we have an incredible giveaway today that was donated by Craft_Beard, aka Tyler Stender, who is the husband of my good friend Aaron. He is a Boise-based photographer, and he is donating a 21 by 31, basically an art print that's on metal. And it is a beautiful photo of the Del Mar Fair in San Diego at night, lit up. It's an incredible shot. Check my story afterwards. But seriously, it's killer, and we're going to be giving that away at the end of today's show. So hang in there. Hi, Ann Nelson. Hang in there and get ready for that giveaway, because like I just feel like, I'm sorry, but every show should include free shit. That's the baseline. Okay, let's hope I just don't have to like go into my garage and like find my bag for Goodwill and like start giving things away. Okay, so without further ado, to stay on point, I'm just going to read. I'm going to read the blog post that I published at 4:30 this morning. I had already written it. I've had some sleeping challenges, which is probably not surprising when you hear this, but you can find this blog post at notimetowasteproject.com/blog. I'm going to be blogging a lot more now. Sorry, not sorry. But I promise it won't be boring. So, without further ado, so that I don't start crying, I'm just going to read. The title is The Post I Hoped I'd Never Have to Write. Also, I did not edit this. I literally wrote it, and that was it. So, IDGAF. Okay. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. A hot flash woke me up, thanks chemically induced menopause. I was unable to fall back asleep, and I knew it was time for me to write this post. After struggling with respiratory issues for 6 weeks, minus one glorious prednisone-fueled one, and undergoing countless tests, my worst fears were confirmed last week. No, it wasn't allergies. And yes, it was cancer. Damn it, I just started. My metastatic breast cancer is now in my lymph nodes of my chest, which is the likely cause of my recent discomfort. On Monday, I'll be going back into treatment, starting chemo and immunotherapy. How long will this treatment phase be? Well, that's the kicker. It's looking like I will be in treatment indefinitely now, as we attempt to slow the cancer's growth and I gear up for the biggest fight of my life, this time to extend my stay here on Earth. The second call with my oncologist last week was the hardest. The conversation was surreal, but his words unforgettable. The cancer is incurable and I have a terminal diagnosis. We are no longer trying to eliminate the cancer as it cannot be eradicated. I will be in some form of treatment for the remainder of my life, and eventually this cancer will be what kills me. At the stage I'm in, and having triple negative, the rarest, most aggressive form of breast cancer, we should hope for, quote, a couple of years. But some people have lived 5 to 10. I was advised to focus on the next treatment phase in front of me, and after a few months we'll scan to see if it's working and then go from there. In many ways, it's like, of course my cancer is fast-moving and aggressive, just like me. Of course, it's now hyper-focused on its objective of killing me, and now it will stop at nothing to achieve that. I picture scary images from Terminator 2. For those of you that know me, you have to admit, though, it's all very on brand, and I can't help but smile. But now, the dreams I had for a next exciting life chapter are gone. I was just starting to get my mojo back, ready to move forward after recovering from the lemon, which was my brain tumor and subsequent surgery in April, getting a clear scan in early May, and completing brain radiation in June, holding on to the words of my oncologist who said I could expect to live my normal lifespan if the cancer didn't show its face again. I decided I wouldn't work for anyone else unless I'd be 110% in and stoked, and I was excited to make no time to waste my passion project, at least for this next period of time. I was beginning to ramp my running with dreams of returning to my pre-cancer fitness, although by July it was tough for me to breathe and my heart rate went up. When I scaled back physical activity and still had breathing problems, I was concerned, but didn't really consider cancer as an option until 2 weeks ago. And now we're here, back with scans and lab appointments and doctor check-ins jamming up my calendar, which is where I'll be for the rest of today. Back to losing my hair in a few weeks, just when I'd finally gotten a tiny little ponytail back. Back to the anxiety of starting chemo and not knowing how my body will take to the new drugs as they try to balance toxic effectiveness with my quality of life. I'm reminding myself how strong and resilient my body was when I went through chemo 2 years ago, but I still fear the unknown. I really thought I'd beat this thing. I'd be lying if I didn't feel a little bit like I failed. There have been many, many tears shed over the past week as I begin to grieve the loss of so much I was looking forward to, while facing the grim reality that I will not get the privilege of growing old. I have been tossed around like a rag doll in the washing machine of trauma. My emotions have shifted dramatically, sometimes by the minute, as I let the sadness and the anger pass through me, often while on hikes near my house. And just when I think I don't have any more tears left, like this morning, I find there is more to cry. And yet, despite all this horribly tragic news over the past week, I've already experienced so much overwhelming gratitude. Deep, deep love for the members of my badass tribe, each with their unique superpower who continue to show up for me. And many moments of pure, unadulterated joy, which has radiated me with light this week from the inside out, no matter how much dark cancer may cloud it. I say this not to bullshit anyone or focus on the positive, but to be honest in my experience. There is deep sadness, but also awe and wonder as I reflect on everything I've seen and done thus far in my 40 years, and I feel grateful for having had such an extraordinary life. There's so much love for those closest to me. I feel intense pain at the thought of my situation causing them pain. There's a lot of anger at the universe for not granting me my wish of beating stupid cancer and letting me experience the sweet, simple, and purpose-driven second half of my life that I was excitedly crafting. And then there's a shitload of fear that ranges from fear of what the new chemo will feel like to the fear of my breathing getting worse, to the physical deterioration that will inevitably happen at some point, and hopefully I don't find myself in a $1 million baby situation. Also fear of the unknown. What happens after our physical bodies leave this earthly world? That's a big one that I plan to explore over the coming months as I revisit the spiritual education of my 20s in search of meaning and comfort. I suspect this will result in some hybrid of Buddhism, Hinduism, and likely overpriced spa services. For now, I'm trying to allow myself time and space to let the feelings flow through me, since I'm told that by doing that, I will free up more space to fight. Even though my objective has now shifted, I will return to the mantras and quotes that got me through my first battle as I gear up for another and face the biggest challenge of my life in confronting my own mortality head on and putting my money where my mouth is. Shit just got real. I literally have no time to waste, and I'm more committed than ever to spreading that message. I hope to take each 24 hours as it comes, maximizing my own moments and continuing to craft a life without regrets by focusing on the shit that really matters. Gratitude, human connection, and joy. Helen Keller said, life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all. I hope you'll join me on the journey here on this blog and my new weekly IG Live show that will return next week with interviews of kick-ass inspirational people who embody the no time to waste spirit. Now let's stop crying about all this and go kick some ass because I've got a lot of living to do. So that's the blog post. So then, typical me fashion. Oh, before I read the next post, which is shorter but more tactical, which if you are on the blog, it says, are you devastated by my terminal cancer diagnosis? Feeling out of control, cursing the universe, and or obsessively cleaning your house or chugging White Claws? Here are ways you can help. So I'm going to share a couple tactical ways that you can help spread this message. But first, some of you might be going, well, what's going to change now, right? Because I knew my cancer was terminal back in after the brain surgery, right? When the cancer skipped my head and went into my brain, and then it grew, and then I couldn't remember things, and I couldn't communicate, and I blanked on stage at TEDx. We found the lemon, and we removed the brain tumor successfully. So we knew it was metastatic at that point, but as I mentioned in the blog post, I was really holding on to the words of my oncologist who told me basically, hey, let's hope it was a sanctuary site, and let's hope that you can live out your whole lifespan, and that we don't see your cancer return for a really long time. I was really like, that's gonna be me. So we knew it was terminal. We knew it was stage 4 back in May, but the news of last week changing that prognosis to like we're gonna hope for a couple years was really jarring, right? Because I have a lot to do. And a lot to see. If COVID gets in the way of my traveling like next year, I'm gonna get pissed. But I'm not trying to think about that yet. Just focusing on what's in front of me. So I don't intend to change a lot of what I was already planning on doing. I have appointments and a PET scan today. I start next week. Gotta get to Hatu. That's true. You should look at the first Instagram live that I did, but everything is mirrored because I'm just doing this on my phone, and that says Utah. But here, this is Hadden in Hatu, which was the name that Sarah had suggested as the Instagram live show. So maybe we'll go to Hatu next year, plan a little ski trip. Let's do it, Hatu. So there are 3 things that are going to change. And everybody knows from my sales training days, power 3s, man. It's what people remember. Everybody likes 3s. It feels good in our brain. There are 3 things that are going to change as a result of this news. Number 1, wigs. Fucking wigs. Am I excited about this? No. No. Do I want my old hair back? Yeah. Have I been like literally crawling my way back with this fro for like almost 2 years? Yeah. But you know, this is the lady. This is the glamour wig. I also have a sport wig, which I'll be probably wearing more often than not. No, it won't be fun, Jenny. I'm not, you know, I used to roll out of bed, not, go to the gym, work out, and that would be the end of it. I wouldn't even blow dry my hair, and I would have like gorgeous, long, luscious locks. The only good thing about this hair is, look at this. This is my pre-cancer look for anybody that's like, what did you used to look like? That's what I used to look like. That was me. So here's the cool thing. This wig looks freaking, literally when I have it on, it's like my old hair. Yeah, it is gorge. Now, I've only tried to put it on once since leaving the wig shop. Look at that. Samesies. So, of the things that are going to change with this new information, we'll be moving to wig. Glamour wig, sport wig. Am I going to like get into wigs? No, it's just not me. Just want my fucking hair back. So that's the first thing that's going to change. 1 is wigs. There's going to be a quiz at the end of this show. 1 is wigs. 2, music, man. Music is the soundtrack of my life. And throughout my life, I've always had kind of pods in. I've always loved running and snowboarding and having down-tempo beats. Just kind of running through my brain. In times of stress, I listen to classical music, or I like Ocean Escapes, which is like my repeat playlist that I listen to on Spotify because it just makes me feel like at the beach. Basically, what I've decided in the last week since getting this news, show tunes are back, baby. Broadway musicals. Like, I'm getting back to my youth. I was like super into musical theater as a kid. It was like I was torn between sports and musical theater, and like I was able to manage both for a long time until I had to freaking choose. And so I'm bringing it back. Yesterday, I went for a run and a hike up to Green Mountain with the Bert. And on the way down, I was like scurrying like a mountain goat with Bert, listening to the Wicked soundtrack, which I haven't listened to in forever. And I was just like having a blast. This morning, I was listening to freaking, brace yourselves, Hamilton as sung by the cast of the Muppets. Like, literally so good. Just kind of coming back. Will You Light My Candle, Rent. Oh, I haven't even like touched Rent yet. I'm just saying, musicals are back. Much to the chagrin of some people that I live with. But yeah, I'm going to listen to music in my, I don't even have this in. I'm going to listen to Broadway musicals again because they just make me feel alive and they make me feel emotions and like all the good feels. Yeah. 5,000, 2,500, 600 minutes. Yes, exactly. So musicals are back. Sorry, not sorry. I love them and I'm going to sing them out loud and I will promise to put them in my headphones. But, please. I was literally listening to it before this. And then 3. So number 1 was Wigs. Number 2, Broadway musicals are back. Sorry, not sorry. Number 3 thing that's going to be changing, Newsies. Good one, Dad. Love Newsies. Number 3 is the only thing that's going to, I think, change as a result of all this news last week, based on my plans, is we are going to be doubling down
on mantras, quotes, fucking spirit animals. Like, it might be a lot. So, you know, I'm a marketer, but then also I've always been obsessed with quotes. Even when I was younger, I had a quote book in high school. You can't read this because had to, but this is basically the quote that I created when I first got diagnosed, and I just fucking repeated the mantra. Oh, I just repeated it over and over and over. It says, "I'm resilient. I was built for this shit. My body is strong. I'm exactly the kind of person who beats this. Bet on me." And the only part that makes me want to cry is because I was like, damn it. Right? Because in some ways I feel like I lost. But that's not true, because the reality is like, I need to keep fighting. I'm going to keep fighting. And I want to stay. You know, if the doctor said some people have lived 5 to 10 years, I will take you to 11. That is my hope. So I will probably come up with a new mantra like that. Fucking spirit animals, you know what this is? It's a peregrine falcon. So some people would be like, oh, like, why are you're like a phoenix rising from the ashes. Phoenix was my first spirit animal, like, years and years ago. But I felt like it garnered a little too much pity, because like a phoenix basically got burnt to the ground and then like rose from the ashes, and like even that is kind of a sad story. And like a peregrine falcon is basically like the shark of all birds. He moves very quickly. He is just laser focused, speed, intensity, aggression, but also like super beautiful. And this is my spirit animal. It's a peregrine falcon. It's been my spiritual animal for a while, and my dad got this framed, and I keep this on my desk. So, the 3 things that are going to change as a result of, if you're just joining, really shitty news last week, which was basically my cancer is the reason why I'm having trouble breathing. It's in my lymph nodes. It's all in this business, and I have to start chemo on Monday. And I'm going from a prognosis of potentially living out my full lifespan if the cancer didn't come back to let's hope for a couple years. Because like me, my cancer is super aggressive and intense, and now very focused on basically killing me. So that's an update if you just joined this Instagram live. I almost cried earlier. Okay, so that's what's going to change. What's going to change as a result of this news? 1, Wigs. Reluctantly, but Wigs. 2, Broadway musicals coming back into my life. Sorry, not sorry. And 3, doubling down on quotes, mantras, and also spirit animals. Okay, so how can you help if you're like, this is terrible news? I would encourage you, I'm going to give you a little tour of the website in a second. Basically, all you do is go to No Time to Waste Project. I'm revamping things so that basically it is less about me doing keynote speaking, especially because although I'll still do it, I don't want to speak to a screen of Zoom people. So until I can be back on stage, I'm probably going to just stick to like podcasts and like select speaking engagements. But you basically go to the front page and see, it says, you can't read it, but the middle pink one says the No Time to Waste blog. It'll take you to the blog. So then you'll see the most recent blog post is how you can help. So I'm just going to read it really quickly. Basically, it says, now that you know the shitty hand I've been dealt, you're hopefully saying to yourself, oh, the tragedy, the despair, I wish I could do something. Rest easy. Here are some ideas. So go to the blog post, but tell people about No Time to Waste. Follow the Instagram account, No Time to Waste Project, or Facebook. But that's really the same content of Instagram. And I personally am not a big personal Facebook person, so I don't actually go on Facebook ever. Tune into that Instagram live show, which you guys are already doing. You're already doing the things. Look at you guys helping. Check out recent interviews, podcasts, speaking engagements, where I share a lot of easy, actionable ways to maximize moments and craft a life without regret by focusing on gratitude, human connection, and joy. Watch and share the TEDx talk on confronting death to live a fuller life, because there's approximately 400 billion TEDx videos that basically never get shown on the YouTube channel, because there's too many of them unless people see it and share it. So it's just going to stay buried. I've got like 20,000 views, I think, which is actually nothing. So share the TED Talk. Not my best effort because of the lemon, but still got a standing ovation. Sign up for the email list. I've never sent an email ever, but the marketer in me feels like I need to capture all the people that are going to the website, and I promise I'm not going to sell your emails, or I'm not going to spam you, but just share it with me. Like, let me put it in a database. Know any bored marketers and creatives? There's a list of a couple things that I could use help with. I can do all this stuff on my own right now, but I could use some expert help. And connect me to people. Like, if you know anybody I should interview, I'm super stoked to interview some really kick-ass people. But if you know anybody, and especially if they have a big following, which will help get the word out faster, that's great. Do the contact us form. I'm totally down for podcasts, interviews. It's way more fun because I don't have to prep anything. I'm going to be pushing out a awesome podcast called the Career Competitor Podcast, where I was interviewed by Steve Meller, and going to be promoting that on Monday, but you can find that now on iTunes if you just search my name. And here's the most important part, an important message. Important message. This is important. Critical disclaimer. Spreading this message of living life like there's no time to waste is not about, and I list them, making money for myself. I say don't need it, don't want it. Fundraising. As of today, I have yet to find a charity I feel compelled to adopt or advocate for. Garnering media attention, but I won't reject it because I've been told this message can help people. Meeting celebrities, although there are a couple interesting ones I'd love to have coffee with. Becoming famous. Paparazzi would really disrupt my idyllic, low-key neighborhood here in Colorado. I have no desire for any of the above, nor will I be actively seeking any of it out. So I have on this blog post of how you can help. So why am I doing this? It's pretty simple. I'm just going to read it so I don't cry. I've got a terminal cancer diagnosis, and as we get closer to death, we experience this thing called mortality legacy awareness. Look for an upcoming post about it, but basically I'm spending a lot of time thinking about what I want to leave behind when I'm gone, whenever that time comes. And it's become clear that no time to waste is going to be my personal legacy. 2, I start chemo again on Monday, and I'm nervous about it. I have a bias towards action in times of stress or crisis, so keeping myself busy and staying on task is part of my DNA. It's how I cope, and although not the healthiest, it's how I distract myself from feelings. Hooray! I'll also need something to keep me motivated, engaged, and excited, which typically happens when I'm A, building something from the ground up, B, doing good, and C, working with people that I freaking love. And then finally, 3, I'm an athlete at my core, which is what I talk about in the podcast that I'll promote on Monday. And if I'm not competing on the court or on the field or on the trails, I need to be trying to win somewhere. I used to say business is my sport at my former companies, but now I work for No Time to Waste Enterprises, Inc. This is a real thing. It is an S-Corp. So I'm back in the game, baby, and anyone who knows me knows that I love to freaking win, right? I'm still figuring out what winning looks like in this, but to start, I know it's about driving awareness, about no time to waste, and capturing emails for later. So then I have on the blog post, let's get back to our regularly scheduled programming and go #carpe the shit out of life, which is seize the shit out of life. That is the announcement. Most importantly, I'm super excited. I am going to bring somebody on the line here who is asking to join because it's, let's see, I've never done this before. Let's do this. So I'm going to bring on Tyler Stender, who is going to be doing a giveaway for today, which is super exciting. Congrats to everyone that's stayed here. Thanks, Zach. While I'm waiting for Tyler, we didn't plan this, so maybe he's not going to be able to hop on. But next week, before we do the giveaway, next week, you want a badass. We got Zach. Look at this. So if you go to the website, you'll see in the top nav IG Live show. So look at this guy. See him? He's the one with the fish. He's also the only guy on the page. this guy's awesome. The way I describe it. So there's a quote he said recently. He said, "I'm a big, burly, beard-growing fisherman, hunter, all ACC." Oh, we got who's that?
Hi, I was not prepared for this at all.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm cleaning dishes.
Well, I wanted to thank you, Tyler, for donating to today's giveaway. The print is awesome. You tell me how, like, how'd you take the photo?
So actually, kind of a funny story was that Erin and I were talking about this, but she was pregnant, and I think it was like a month before Em was getting ready to join us, and it was like one of those nights where I was like, "Oh, the sunset's gonna be so sick. We gotta go take a picture. Like, let's get down there. It's gonna be awesome." And we get down there to Dog Beach in Del Mar, and it was a total bust. I took like some long exposures and was pretty disappointed, and was like, "Sorry, I know I said it was gonna be awesome, and it wasn't." And then as we came kind of like back up onto the bridge, you know, to get back to the car, overlooking the fairgrounds, it was just like this like super vibrant like pink and purple color. There's nobody at the fairgrounds because they had like just set it up and it wasn't getting ready to launch until I think, you know, July 4th or whatever it is. And so of course I was like, "Hey, can I just do like one more photo?" Which is famous. It's like one more wave, one more anything, right?
Yeah.
You know, ends up being 5 more or something. And so yeah, so kind of just kind of lucked into it, you know, and
that's awesome.
took a long exposure and really cool.
I want to see if I can try and show the photo of it. You guys hopefully saw it in the story, but it's awesome. This is it. It's this rad photo of it's awesome. It's metallic. It's big. So we're going to give it away. And for anybody that's San Diego, this should be like something that's really awesome that you'd be stoked about. So right now, the first person that puts in hashtag carpe the shit out of life, because you got to get it right. People fuck it up and they're like, "Oh, carpe, which is seize the shit out of life." First person that puts that in right now is going to receive this amazing art print. We're going to ship it to you. There it is. Like Sarah, carpe the shit out of life. She's been waiting.
Perfect.
She's been waiting for it, I think. And
cool.
So Sarah, make sure you DM Tyler, craft_beard. Thank you so much, Tyler, for donating. That was awesome. Sorry.
Absolutely.
Next time. Really appreciate it. I'm gonna shut you off. Thanks, Tyler.
Thanks. Good to see you.
Move Craft Beard. This is fun. I'm getting to know this, man. Yeah, people are pissed. It's late. People are late, guys. You gotta jump on it. So pretty much, look at that. We gave away a beautiful $200 art print for someone that loves San Diego, which is awesome. People are pissed now at Sarah. Don't get angry if you didn't win the giveaway. Tune in next week for Zach Yarbrough. I think that's how we pronounce his last name. He and I are going to chat this week, get to know each other. But he is basically this burly beast of a guy who was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. And he's just completed his treatment. And he has a great spirit and is stoked to help drive awareness around breast cancer, specifically in men, because it does happen. And I just freaking love it. And I love his vibe, and I can't wait to interview him next week and stop having me just read blog posts and not cry. So go to notimetowasteprojects.com/blog. You can find those ways you can help. Do the contact us form if you've got any ideas or anything you want to share. I am headed out to scans and chemo teach appointments and labs today, and then I am headed out of town for the weekend to go to the mountains and rest and regroup. So I am super excited for that. We will be back to our regularly scheduled program next week. I so appreciate you guys listening. I will post this on the website and on Instagram. But yeah, onward, right? Thanks to everybody for your support and your love, and go live today. Oh, I forgot. Quote for today. Two things. No time to waste tip of the week, which I'm going to start doing. The no time to waste tip of the week is, I'm not saying this to be a dick, but it can always get worse. If you think like you're in the basement, there's like a creepy crawl space like we have in our house that's like not even a finished basement, and it's like literally the stones of the house, and there's dirt, and but it's lower. And you know, a month ago I was crying because of the permanent hair loss that I have all over the top of my head from radiation. And that was like my biggest, you know, and I'm trying not to beat myself up for being really upset about that, but that was like the biggest thing in the world, right? And now, a month later, I wish this was going to be like my biggest problem, right? Now I'm just like, I just want to live. Take it back. Just want to live. So the tip of the week is, remember that it can always get worse. And if you think you're in a terrible situation, think about how it could be worse. Not to scare you, but to shock your system into remembering that there are good things about today, and your future self might tell your current self to be grateful for what you've got. So I leave you with the quote of the week, because I told you I'm doubling down. Quote of the week. It's not the years in your life that count, it's the life in your years. I have lived a lot of life in my years so far, and I plan on continuing to do that. So make today count. Do it for me. Do it for everybody out there. Live and love like there's no time to waste. Love you guys.